Let's use the Express Yourself pack of yarn today to make some real cool emojis. Here's what you'll need. You will be using the largest crochet hook, the one with the peace sign on the bottom. Start by making a slip knot. And you can watch how to make a slip knot in a video if you want to see that in a little more detail. We're going to start out by making a circle and chaining 3. We also have a video on how to start making a circle too, if you want a little bit of a slower version of what I just did. You're going to continue around the circle here, and I like to increase as I go. I increase pretty much in every stitch I did as I go around that very first time. The key to making a circle is keeping it flat. So as you go, keep checking your work. And just keep on increasing if you feel it pulling up in a certain direction. If you find that your circle is a little too wavy and big, you want to stop increasing, and that will help level it out. As long as you just work methodically though around and increase as you think you need to, you should get a pretty flat circle. If it's not perfectly flat, that's all right too. Yarn is so great when you stretch it or manipulate it in different ways. It'll actually stretch out and become flat if you need to. Another tip, this may be a really, really crazy idea, but if you have a heavy book and your circle is really not flat, just put a book on top of it. That'll do the trick too. Practice also helps. So if you want to take rows out and redo it, feel free to do that. But keeping it flat, staying relaxed is definitely the best tip I could give. By using this big hook to make a circle, it's gonna make this circle pretty quick. The goal is to get it to be about 10 inches. When I start out, at the beginning of the circle, I'm increasing all the time. But as the circle starts to get bigger, I do less increases because it's pretty much coming together at that point. I finished my circle, and for my emoji this time, I used 1 full ball of yarn, but feel free to use less yarn or more to make the size whatever you'd like it to be. We are now going to move on to some of the expressions. I'm going to start with the heart and use stop sign red to make my very first heart. So slip knot and your star 9mm hook. Any 9mm hook will do, but this one's my favorite. And to get going, you are going to chain 3 and then work your way back and single crochet into those first 2 chains and then chain 1. So you'll have an extra chain hanging off the side there. Go ahead and flip your work and work directly into that chain that you just created and do 3 single crochets back and then chain 1. So now you have another extra stitch hanging off the other side. Flip your work again, single crochet into that chain, and then do 3 more single crochets. You're gonna do the same thing until that V shape that you're making is a nice size for your heart. And you wanna take into consideration how big your circle is and how big you want their heart eyes to be. I want my heart eyes to be pretty big because I love the heart emoji. I'm chaining 1, flipping the work, and single crocheting across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're doing 1 more chain, 7, flipping your work and going back across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now as I'm looking at this, 7's always a nice number because it's an odd number. And when I make hearts a lot of times, I like to stop at an odd number. So I'm gonna stop there and actually have this be the first part of my lobe. I'm gonna stop and flip my work and work my way back on top of the row I just created. Single crocheting in that first hole there and continuing across. 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna flip the work, skip that first stitch, go directly to the next one, skip a stitch, and do 3 single crochets across, 2 and 3. Flip it again, skip the first stitch, and do 2 single crochets. Voila! You've created your first part of your heart. Pull it out, and I like to tuck the end in just by using my crochet hook to do so to hold it nice and tight before I finished off. Now, we're gonna do the same thing starting on the other side. Slip knot. So I do my first single crochet. I'm gonna do 4 single crochets total, 1, 2, 3. And that 4th single crochet I'm doing is actually in the same hole as the other one I did on the other side, and 4. This creates a nice little center point so your heart is completely even. Go ahead and flip it. I'm not gonna skip a stitch yet. I'm gonna do 4 single crochets back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm gonna start skipping stitches. So skip that first stitch and jump to the next one to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Flip it again, skip that stitch, and do 1 and 2. And you've done it. You've created your first heart for your love emoji, and go ahead and weave that end in. Sometimes by weaving the ends in, it actually helps create a nicer rounded edge, so you can kind of use that as a trick if yours is looking a little jaggedy. Now do the exact same thing again. Next, I'll show you how to make a smile. It's just chaining. And use the size of your emoji to determine how big your smile is. A chain that's around 5 inches to 8 inches is probably good, but really the best way to do it is just put the smile right on that yellow circle there and see what you think looks best. So that looks good to me. I'm gonna do 1 more chain for good measure, because whenever you cut a chain, it always shrinks just a little bit because you want to tug on those edges to make it a little more tight, and that's going to make the size of it a little shorter than it actually looks before you cut it. And you have yourself a smile. If you're hoping to just make the love emoji, feel free to glue those ends down, and you will glue the hearts and the smile right onto your yellow circle. I'm going to now make the happy face. This smiley happy face emoji is by far the simplest. You are just gonna do your slip knot and make 2 little circles. We have a video on how to start a circle, and really that's all we're doing to make these, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the start of my circle here and work my way around maybe 1 time. And when you start out a circle, you're increasing in every chain that you've made before that, or every single crochet, depending where you are at in your circle, to make it. By increasing as you go around a circle, it helps keep it very flat, and that's what we want to do. So increase, 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 because all we're doing is making the very start of a circle. And when your eye is about the size that you'd like it, I think I'm good, go ahead and trim. And I'm gonna weave it through, but you can leave it as is and just wait to glue when you get to the end. Woohoo! So cute and so simple. Take a chain that you've made, mine's about 9 chains long, trim it, and place it on your circle however you would like. Go ahead and glue the ends, and you've made yourself a happy face. I'm gonna also make the cool emoji, so I'm gonna move right along to that now. To make the sunglasses, you're gonna start out by chaining 8, and you can take a look at your circle and see that that's gonna be a nice top ridge for your sunglasses to fit the size of my circle. If yours is a different size, you may want to make your chain a little bigger or a little smaller. You're gonna turn your work and single crochet back all the way to the end. When you reach the end, go ahead and flip your work, and you're gonna decrease by skipping that first single crochet there and jumping into the second one. Taking out one of your stitches, making it just a little shorter than before. You're gonna get all the way to the end, turn your work, skip that first stitch, and jump right into the next one, decreasing it by one more. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're gonna do that one more time. Flip your work, skip that first hole, and jump right into the next one. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And because sunglasses have a nice rounded ridge, you're gonna just keep working your way up the end, single crocheting the whole way as you go until you reach the top, and then you cut. So easy. And to finish it off, it's pretty simple there. You're just gonna be taking your same chain, so I chained 9 to make your facial expression. Go ahead and glue on the back, and just a tiny bit of glue will do. If you'd like to tie in your ends, weave in your ends, sew in your ends, feel free. As I'm waiting for these two to dry, I'm gonna glue down the smile. You can even use one of your rows that you've made as a guide, because the circle naturally curves just like your smile. Thanks for making these emojis with me today, and thank you so much for crocheting outside the lines.